Yo, what's good, basketball heads? It's your boy Crush. So this is a subject, man, I had to touch on this one. So Emmanuel Acho from Speak, he claims Kyrie is no longer a number 2. And that is disrespectful, and beyond that, that sounds crazy. So based on Kyrie's finals performances, he claims Kyrie is no longer a number 2. So if Kyrie is not a number 2, what is he? We know he's not a number 1. Not at this stage in his career. And he's definitely not a number 3. He could be a number 3, but he's not. Kyrie is a number 2. If you're going to base your analysis, your assessment on the NBA Finals, that sounds crazy. If he's not a number 2, why was Luka unable to get to the finals prior to Kyrie? Before the Mavericks acquired Kyrie, did Luka make a finals? I'll wait. As soon as they got Kyrie, they had the whole situation, all the controversy. So he was already distracted, wasn't focused. They didn't make the playoff. Everybody was talking crazy. We all had doubts. The man came back this season, block out all the noise, focused on basketball. He's in a happy place. They made the finals. He was just as good as Luka on their way to the finals, the entire playoffs. Kyrie was just as good. Of course, Luka is better, but slightly. Kyrie was right there with Luka. In some games, even better. Yet, this man is going to tell you that Kyrie is no longer a number 2. This is one of the craziest takes I have ever watched and heard. That sounds crazy. Emmanuel Acho is always saying bogus things, man. Half the times, the stuff he say, the stuff that comes out of his mouth, you got to scratch your head like, what? The same way he tried to say Drew Holiday is a better player than Kyrie Irving. On what planet? Yes, Drew Holiday is a much better defender. Nobody's going to argue that. But if you're in a game, you need to win, crunch time. We got to get these buckets. Kyrie defense this year stepped up much better than his career. His defense this season has been pretty stellar. But if you're going to say Drew Holiday is better than Kyrie, that sounds crazy. That sounds insane. So Acho been out here just talking crazy about Kyrie, saying all these outlandish things, just talking nonsense. And I'm watching like, what the heck? Nobody on the show could even believe him. Everybody's stunned. Like, what? Even his cast, his co-hosts, they're all sitting there like, what the hell is he talking about? Kyrie Irving is not a number 2? Man, that sounds bogus. You got to really think about certain things before you say them. I know he thought about it, obviously. It just don't make sense. Yes, Kyrie played like crap in Boston. He didn't play well. He played horribly. He played horrible in the finals. The man wasn't good. By a long stretch, he was terrible. If you compare it to his standards or the previous series. But if we're going to use that to say he's not a number 2, but prior to the finals, everybody was praising, Kyrie is a beast. The Mavericks, they could win the championship. Even Acho chose the Mavericks, but then he did a 360 once the Mavericks started losing. And Kyrie's not a number 2. So I guess Kyrie Irving is a bench player? What are you talking about? That sounds crazy. You're going to blame Kyrie Irving because Luka wasn't his best? Luka didn't even play good. If you compare the previous season, both stars didn't play good. Kyrie was horrible. Luka was horrible. They didn't play good. But he's going to shift all the blame to Kyrie and exclude, Luka. It's not Luka's fault. It's Kyrie's fault. The number 2 is why they lost, even though Luka didn't play good in the finals. Make this make sense. And I know Kyrie haven't won a championship since LeBron, since 2016-17. It's been a long time. We can't live in the past. He is a champion. You can't change that. But we can't live on, almost a decade ago, he hit the biggest shots or one of the biggest shots in NBA history. We can't live on that. And that I do understand. And I'm not trying to live on that. But what we have seen from Kyrie in this year's playoff, you can't tell me he's not a number 2. The reason why Dallas lost was simple. The Celtics, they are the greater team. They have more bodies, a deeper roster, way better defense, superior individual defense. We could go on and on. More length, The Celtics beat Dallas in every category. So of course they were in a better situation, a better position to win the championship. It's not an excuse. If you was to take Kyrie Irving and Luka and drop them on the Celtics, you would get the same situation. Granted, they're not the same defender Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are, but regardless, you would get the same outcome, I could guarantee you. That team is loaded. They added Drew Holiday, Porzingis, they have White. I mean, that team is so deep, it's insane. Al Horford, we could go on and on. So you can't use the finals to say this guy is not a number 2 anymore. Boston never won a championship prior to this season. They flunked out many times with Tatum and Brown. Did anybody say, oh, Brown is not a number 2? I mean, yes, we had doubts. Can they play together? You know, their play style is too similar. Yes, we had all that. But did we say, oh, yeah, Brown isn't a number 2 because they lost? No, we did not. We just questioned how good they are as a team. That's all we did. But when it comes to Kyrie, you're going to say he's not a number 2? Oh, he's not a number 2. But LeBron was trying to move heaven and earth for the Lakers to bring Kyrie in. But they couldn't come to an agreement as far as, what he wanted. He wanted a 4-year deal, max extension, whatever. And the Lakers wasn't willing to go there. So he ended up in Dallas. So if he's not a number 2 or whatever you claim he's not, why was LeBron James trying to get him? And when they were unable to get him, LeBron got upset. The man is a number 2. They just ran into a better team. Even I chose Dallas to win the championships based off what Boston had to overcome. All the teams they defeated prior to the finals, the superstars were missing. The Cavs, Miami, the Pacers, and they still kind of struggled a little bit. So based on that, I was like, yeah, the Mavs, they're going to get him. I misjudged the whole situation myself. But you can't say Kyrie's not a number 2, man. The guy's a legit number 2. I mean, at times he could be the number 1, in spurts, situational. Emmanuel Acho be talking crazy. And this is not the first or the last, man. He's always making these takes, and it's like, what is he talking about? Everybody on the panel is looking like, what? Because it sounds crazy. That's like saying Luka is not a number 1 because he lost in the finals. That would sound crazy. It makes you look crazy. You can't just be saying stuff just because it sounds good. It has to make sense. And without Kyrie, they don't make the finals. If he wasn't on the team, Lord knows they would get past the Clippers in the first round. The reason why they destroyed the Clippers so easily is because Luka had Kyrie right next to him. The reason why they got rid of the Timberwolves is because Luka had Kyrie right next to him. The reason why they won one game, at least they won a game, game 4, was because Luka had Kyrie right next to him. So you got to be careful when you're speaking, man. You don't want to lose credibility talking crazy and just saying nonsense. You got to be sensible when you're making your takes. You could say Kyrie is not a number 2, but now you're making us question your basketball credibility or your knowledge because now you're sounding stupid. But yeah, man, they're always trying to find a way to discredit Kyrie Irving, scapegoat the man in any situation. Even though Luka is the number 1 option and he wasn't so good, we are going to say Kyrie is not a number 2. I've seen it all, man, and I've heard it all. But, we are going to see what happened in the summer. Dallas just need a few upgrades, a few wings, a few defensive upgrade, a center. They could use another center. Another, a big body. They just need a few upgrades, like maybe 2 to 3 extra players, to fill in certain position. And I feel like they could be right back in the finals. This team ain't going nowhere. Kyrie's only 32. He's pretty young. He has a good 4 or 5 seasons left in his prime. So he ain't going nowhere. And there's a possibility they could land Paul George. And if they do, it's a wrap. So, we're going to see what happened this summer, man. There's a lot of moves to be made. And Acho got to stop talking crazy. But as always, I holla. As always, we just talking basketball. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share. Holla at your boy. It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about the game. I'ma say it. It's all about the game.